Hey guys, Silverlord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest Super Adaptoid Big Fig. That's what the advertisement from good old Ollie's said, at least. That said, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, and much like the Doctor Doom and Captain Marvel 2-pack we looked at recently, is also brought to us by the local friend who shall not be named for privacy reasons, who was kind enough to hook this guy up. That said, if you're wondering what I paid for this figure, it sure as hell wasn't anywhere near the original retail price, which was what? $70? That's a bit nuts, considering that the 12-inch Captain America that this figure is based off from was only $50 and came with more accessories. We'll get into that once we get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all the Super Adaptoid has to offer in terms of accessories, which are straight reuse from the other 12-inch Marvel figures. We have Thor's hammer. This, of course, came with the big Thor figure, which this 12-inch Marvel Legends line that the Super Adaptoid's based off and these accessories come from, I never messed with that. I never got any. I thought the Hulk was cool. I thought the Thor was cool. If anything, I almost got the Spider-Man because it was kind of McFarlane looking in the eyes. The Deadpool was tempting because he also came with the zombie head pool. And then the Jim Lee Wolverine, because it's probably the single best Wolverine Hasbro's ever made, and if they just shrunk it down, it would be the best Marvel Legends Wolverine ever. But they didn't do that, so whatever. But got this hammer here. Should mention, back when I worked for TJ Maxx, they did get the Iron Man there. But if it was the Spider-Man, I probably would have bought it. Isn't there a Daredevil too? He was pretty cool. I think there's Black Panther. There wasn't a lot of characters. It was very, like, there were no villains, which I can't believe they didn't make a Venom. But if history serves me right here, if I got my facts straight, Toy Biz did a line of Jumbo Marvel Legends, right? There was a Venom in those. He had, like, individual fingers so he could flip you the bird and everything, but they have a lot more characters in that line than Hasbro did in this one. This one didn't last very long, probably because they all went to clearance. I mean, it's a very niche thing. You know, if people want 12-inch Marvel figures, they're probably going to go Sideshow and buy Hot Toys, but that's just me. That said, we also get the Captain America shield and the Super Adaptoid colors. And that's your lot. You technically don't even get a hand to grip onto this part of the shield. You can slip it over the wrist, but in order to get this shield on, you have to pop off. I can take a closer look at him here. You have to pop off the forearm, which it is a separate piece. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to screw it. We got time. You can do it without heating it. It's a pretty thick peg too, so I wouldn't even worry about stressing or breaking that, but it could be easier said than done. And the reason you have to do that is because he's got these giant shark fins on his gloves that prohibit you from getting the shield up and over that without popping off the forearm. Thankfully, you can at least get the shield on without having to put it in his right hand, but yeah, it could have been easier. That said, this guy is, of course, reuse of the 12-inch Captain America figure, which Bobby Valla of Valorverse Action Force fame is known for sculpting and engineering. And for the most part, it's a decent base body. I'll give him that. I'm not a fan of the diaphragm with the ab crunch below it. I only really like that on the Power Rangers Lightning Collection figures because it doesn't really... It kind of works for them, On this guy, it works because it doesn't break the costume, but really, you want this reversed. You want the ab crunch up here, and you want a ball socket down here. But that's, again, that's just me. That said, as far as the head sculpt goes, kind of looks like an Ultraman villain, not gonna lie. But I'm assuming he's big because he's like a Mazo from DC and can kind of mimic the Avengers power, so he's like Giant Man, or in Giant Man mode, or something here. That's my only guess. I heard he's supposed to have wings on the back, but obviously he doesn't have those. I don't really care. This thing's big enough to where I kind of glad he doesn't have the wings, but at the same time, if he's supposed to have them, you should have had them in the box. Along with some alt hands. I think a grip hand for this side and a fist for this side would have been just fine if those molds existed, however. We all know how Hasbro is and spending money on tooling. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, he's got the ball joint in the head. It's on a disc hinge, so he can look up. He can look down. His head surprisingly does not sit that far on the neck, but he does have a little lollipop, so you can bury his chin there. I would say this is probably better proportionally, because it's less of a gap between the shoulders and the chin, but the way it is like this isn't bad either. Shoulders can go out to the side pretty far. Back down, rotates. Bicep swivel works just fine. He's a little gummy, but nothing that needs soap or anything like that. He does have a double elbow, which really the double elbow on this thing, pretty terrible. It doesn't, the top one I cannot get to move very far. It moves a little bit, and I think it's just the sculpt that's in the way of it. Like, there is clearly sculpt in front of this top joint that's not allowing it to move. So that is very strange that that is engineered like that. But if you wanted to know the max range, that's pretty much it. You get a right angle, so that's kind of worthless. Again, he does have the gauntlet, or the glove rotation, with the swivel and the hinge in the wrist. I will mention that this hand over here does have the up and down hinge for holding weapons. That is awesome. But moving his arms up, this torso is a little tricky to get to move at first. It's very stiff. But once you get it going, those clicks will kind of dissipate somewhat. And you'll be able to move it just fine, but you gotta work it. There you go. So you can rotate this all around just like that. But again, you want to work it, you don't just want to force it. You gotta use a little force, but he can tilt forward a little bit and back some, and a little bit of side to side, not really any actually. Ab crunch down here. It's not the tightest thing ever, but I'm assuming they're all kind of like that. You can crunch forward and back. It is a very awkward ab crunch though. It just feels like it does not center, but I guess that's center. Thankfully the locks do kind of keep it in place, even though it is kind of weird. Really, this feels like that feels neutral to me, but that is just me. As far as the hips go, it'll kick out about that far. Forward, he's got a thigh cut. He's got double knee. Those are not hindered like the elbows. Then the boots will rotate. Those are probably the gummiest things on this guy, but I don't know, I wouldn't worry about it. I could probably put some soap in there and fix that. Yeah, this one doesn't feel like it's plugged on all the way. Hold on. going on here? Oh no, I think that's just a pants. Yeah, that's just a pants sculpt. I'm trying to figure out if this is like a cuff around the pant leg, or... Huh. That is interesting. Yeah, there's a bit of a cuff on the boot there. That's interesting. But yeah, the boot swivels a little bit gummy. That said, the feet can hinge forward and back, and also have a rocker. He does have very tiny peg holes on his feet, so if you want to throw him on a stand, you can do that. But that is the Super Adaptoid in a nutshell. I'm glad I have it. This was one of the pieces from the Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest collection there that I kind of wanted to get, just because it's a character I didn't have. And it's a big one, so he'll have a bit of a presence on the shelf, but it is exactly what you think it is. It's not the most special thing ever. It is literally just a jumbo Marvel Legends figure built just like the small regular size Marvel Legends figures. But again, it's a cool enough character. I think it was worth having. I like it, but it's not gonna win any awards or anything, at least not from me. So yeah, and for 20 bucks you can't go wrong. This is a hell of a deal. That said, before we wrap this up, we'll just bring in our two regulars, because obviously he's gonna be bigger than all the Marvel Legends. I mean, he's a 12-inch figure, unless you got like, I don't know, one of the old Toy Biz Build-A-Figures that was like 2 feet tall. He's not going to be shorter than a lot of other characters on the shelf. So there's the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith, who you can barely see, and the infamous Elephant Spawn, who, for the first time in a long time, is not towering over everyone in a Marvel Legends review, or a Hasbro review in general. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and despite my thoughts on this figure, do I feel satisfied after paying the price I paid for it? Absolutely. I think this guy is definitely well worth the 20 bucks I paid for it. However, would I have paid the full retail price for it? Hell no. There's no way I would have paid 70 bucks for a heavily reused figure with minimal accessories. Okay? At the end of the day, I think he should have at least come with an extra pair of hands, if not those wings that everyone says he should have come with. That said, even without the wings and those extra hands, and even if we take away the price I paid for it, I don't think this figure is that bad. I think it's pretty average, but I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. I think the only thing really holding this guy back is the price point, because I like this guy more than I thought I would, and that's not something I say about a Marvel Legends I buy on clearance of all things very often, because the last Marvel Legends figure I bought that was this size, I paid full price for, but that's just what you do when they offer frickin' Surtur, right? So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.